Hello friends, how are you today? In celebration of fall, I decided to wear this plaid shirt. But I don't really need it because it's not that cold, surprisingly, out here this morning. Well, I'd like to talk to you about the Schumann Resonance and Astrology energies. It's so amazing. Yesterday we had what to me looked like a figure of a woman facing some red and yellow energy in the chart, and behind her was this rod of white resonance energy, and then all of these they were like rods of white resonance energy, but they only went to about the mid beta range for human brainwaves. Okay, so what it looked like to me was a woman backed by God and then backed by a group of humans and a lot of men. And this woman was like a Joan of Arc figure, okay? And that's what I got, Joan of Arc facing the demons. Joan of Arc facing the demon army with her army of light, right? Her army of men that followed her into battle. I'm going to talk about Joan of Arc more at the end of this, okay? Because I want to talk about that energy. But essentially, amplitude spiked super high at the rod that was behind her, okay? So it's like the power of divinity and support. Then this morning, it's really interesting because there are two waves and then this clear separation before the rest of the wave happens. I don't know, we'll see what happens later today. But it looked to me like small buffaloes. You know, in the summer, we get the white buffalo resonance waves periodic, and we sometimes get ones that look like white buffalo. But this time they were small. There were two buffalo with the head together, okay? And then the body of one stops abruptly. It was an abrupt stop. And really the energy, reading the images of this that came to me was about the abruptness, right, of the stop of that wave. Now it looks like it's continuing on. And so we'll have more about that later. So I think that this is really interesting because they're both kind of images of battling energies. And why do I focus on the images and reading the intuitive images on the Schumann Resonance in addition to looking at the data behind the chart and interpreting it? Well, it's my view that the Schumann Resonance represents aspects of human consciousness. And, you know, it's all at our brain waves. We are electromagnetic beings, and we are not separate from electromagnetic energy. We are one. We are one, baby, with that stuff. So it flows through us and within us and generates from us. And that's why I think this is important. Now, I have a lot of experience doing intuitive reads. You know, I've developed my energy capabilities for a long time. So, you know, and I've got to tell you something. It reflects so much in the astrology. So here's what I want to show you about the astrology. This is what's so amazing that's happening. I'm going to make you drawings. Okay, it's just like meeting with me in person. Okay, so here we go. That is a box, okay? A square. Well, it's not exactly a square, right? But right now Saturn is in Pisces. So Saturn in Pisces is like a square in the ocean. Now, Saturn is like the architectural drawing under a house in this instance, okay? Normally when we think of Saturn, we think of like the bones of the body, right? The solid bones that make up what the body is, right? And, or you can think of it as the framing, the wood, steel, concrete, you know, framing and foundation of a house. And then you put the nice stuff on after, right? You put the functioning part that holds it all up for real. That's like Saturn energy, okay? Now, Saturn in the sky, which is Saturn ruling Aquarius. We think of Saturn as ruling Capricorn, but traditionally it also ruled Aquarius. Saturn in the sky is concept and ideas. Saturn in the ocean feels overwhelming. So we've had this since about March 2023, and it's going to go on for, I think, another year or so, because Saturn's right about at 15 of Pisces right now. It's halfway through the sign. But Saturn in Pisces is like trying to contain the ocean. How do you do it? How do you create structure in the ocean? It's not easy. It's difficult. Think about oil rigs, right? And trying to get those seated in the ocean. And I'm sure you've seen the huge, right? The huge waves and storms that guys that work at these places, put up on social media. It's pretty amazing. So, the question that we ask in this time is, how do we contain the ocean? The thing is, we can't, right? You can't contain the ocean in a box. And so what Saturn in the ocean is like is everything is flowing out of the box, okay? You can't contain it. And deep into Pisces, because it's now about, 15 Pisces or a little further now. See, it's like everything's flowing in and out of the box. The structure is, you can't get a handle on it, okay? And this is the time that we're in. Now, here's what the positive of this is. When we have these feelings and they feel chaotic, what it does is it allows us to question the structures that we already have, and to everything feels like it's becoming unwound. So we can unwind these structures to find a better resolution. Now, here's the amazing thing. Saturn opposed Neptune, okay? In the full moon for this month, it was very intense. The full moon having an eclipse, that lasts for the next 3 months. So what does that do? Okay, Saturn opposed Mercury. Did I say that? I don't know. All right, so see this? Okay. Saturn opposed Mercury. That's a symbol for Mercury. So the meaning here is this, okay? Mercury gives us the ability to have the insights. Let's see here, what do I want to do? There's something floating around in the ocean. It's come out of the box, okay? And with Mercury opposing Saturn at the full moon and then coming off of it at the equinox, these are 3-month and 6-month influences on us. So Mercury can now get in there very clearly and see, oh wait, this came out of the box. That's potent. This came out of the box. That's potent. This came out of the box. And how I've experienced is it's like it's floating around me in the ethers. And it's from me, from my soul, from the Creator for me. Okay, and there's special insights about my life. Now, it's important to write them down as you receive them. Why? Because we're receiving this in a 5th-dimensional state of wholeness, okay? And that's hard to remember with the conscious mind. So Mercury can spot them, right? Mercury rules the mind. Mercury rules brothers and sisters. Mercury rules your tribe, okay? Mercury rules mental acuity and communication. But, the non-physical, grasping the non-physical is in Pisces, and Saturn's in Pisces, and it's debilitated. So write this stuff down, right? You have to consciously bring the structure, which is Mercury and Virgo, doing the conscious little doodads, the to-do list of what actually is important. So write them down, because over the next 3 months, you can then apply them to your harvest of energies of what you dreamed of in the spring. Because we think of September as sort of almost the end of the year. It's not. It's the mid-year, the mid-lunar year. And the equinox, okay? The equinox is part of the solar year. The midpoint of the lunar year at the new moon on October 2nd coming is a midpoint energy. This is like, for the year, it's like a full moon energy. It's the peak, right, of the energy, and you go into harvesting what you have worked on the last 6 months. That's why this is so important. Now, there's something else going on here, and it's in the background. Most people can't see it because you have to look at the data behind the chart, just like the Schumann Resonance. right? If you really want to get what's going on, you have to put the influences that are unseen together. All right, so here's what's going on. All right, so we've got Pluto, and it's opposing Jupiter and Mars. See? Okay, that's Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto. All right, so these energies oppose each other. Now, in its highest elevation, Pluto can help us find the soul energy. Look at what it is, okay? It's the cup, the chalice, right? The Holy Grail. What is in the Holy Grail? The light of the soul. Right? Yeah, that's big, isn't it? It's really big. And it's got the base of Venus, right? The base of the cross, the base of Venus. Do you understand Pluto in a different way now? So see what Pluto does, this energy, when we look at it from the standpoint of living as a human, it can invite us to turn away from the soul or to have human experiences that we think are from the soul level. But when we actually connect with the soul that we are, through prayer, meditation, 0 point energy, within the human heart, and then that can be brought to the body. What happens is we retrieve the truth of who we are. We are able to sense God's will for us innately. And, people call this conscience as well. That's a version of it. But what's happening with big, beneficent Jupiter and Mars powering up that energy, and Mars is very quick. It wants to do stuff fast. And then it's opposing Pluto, which right now I'm presenting in an elevated state as the energy of the Holy Grail, right? The energy of the soul. Mars has quick, big insights for your life. See how that goes together. For your life, Mercury opposing Saturn, and now coming off of that opposition, but still influential. And having opposed exact at within a degree at a 3-month marker. Do you see how important this is? So we have the ability to change our lives here, and it's really potent and it's really cool, and to gain insights that can make you more powerful in your life, stronger in your life, more effective in your life, and bring the changes to who you are, to yourself and your body that you've dreamed of, that maybe you dreamed of back in spring. and these are the insights that can help bring some of this to fruition for you now. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Joan of Arc energy. It's really interesting, okay? I'm just gonna put this out there and ask some questions. We're told women couldn't do anything before the 1960s, right? In our society, Joan of Arc led an army, right? We are told that accessing the woo, accessing the non-physical, receiving messages from God is, it's still in the area of taboo. It's still in the area of people look at it quizzically sometimes. It's still in this area of it's not okay, right? By the mainstream narrative. Joan of Arc received messages from God, and the King of France believed her. There have been many people like her in the times since Jesus, receiving messages from the divine, right? Receiving messages from the divine. And maybe these are a couple things to take a look at, especially with, in my view, the Joan of Arc image and the Schumann Resonance, right? We can connect with God individually and personally. We can receive messages for ourselves, and in some cases, like with Joan of Arc, that impact our whole community or our country. Women had competency before 1960. They got shit done, okay? They were with the husband. They were the backbone of the family. Madame Curie helped discover polio. Einstein's wife helped him. She did all his equations. So I'm tired of seeing women talked about like they're helpless. It's just, can we move on? You know? Can we move on from that? And the only way to do that is to consciously make the note of the insight and then bring it into your life, you know, and stop being a victim. Stop being a victim, because if someone's trying to make you a victim, they're trying to use you for some purpose. You know, that's, Joan of Arc was a hero. You know, she was badass, man. It was awesome. I've met a lot of women with her energy, and it's an honor, right? It's an honor. It's pretty cool. All right, you guys. Well, I love you. I just want to share my love with you today. I feel so good. And thank you for being here and being a part of my channel. I really appreciate you. And I really appreciate as well my channel members. Thank you so much for joining me there, those who have done it, or my paid subscribers. You guys rock as well. And I so appreciate your support.